You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. BET Awards, the longest damn awards. I think it was longer than the Oscars, okay? I swear it felt like it was 9 hours. And one of the last awards they gave was to Tyler Perry. And it was the Icon Award. And I can tell you, he did not disappoint in the speech that he gave, which was so on point. I said, we've got to talk about it right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Go.
When I built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too. I was trying to help somebody cross. The studio was once a Confederate Army base, and I want you to hear this, which meant that there was Confederate soldiers on that base plotting and planning on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by one Negro. It's all about trying to help somebody cross. While everybody was fighting for a seat at the table, talking about Oscar so white, I said, y'all go ahead and do that. But while you fighting for a seat at the table, I'll be down in Atlanta building my own. Because what I know for sure is that if I could just build this table, God would prepare it for me in the presence of my enemies. Rather than being an icon, I want to be an inspiration. So thank you, BET, my new family. Thank you, everybody. I want you to hear this. Every dreamer in this room, there are people whose lives are tied into your dream. Own your stuff. Own your business. Own your way. God bless you. Thank you, BET. Thank you, Scott. I love you guys. Thank you.
Karen, last year I had Tyler Perry speak at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Detroit, and I wanted him to emphasize that. But also I wanted him to emphasize that his empire was built by black people. That by serving your black audience, you don't have to cross over. Now, I'm not denigrating those who cross over, but I do believe what happens is we have taken, first of all a result of white supremacy. We have taken on this whole idea that we need to cross over. We need to have this sort of white base of fans as well in order for us to be able to get the things that we want in life. This is the second studio that Tyler Perry has built. He's got his private jet. He's got his mansions. He's got his millions. It is because he respected and served black people.
Yes. Listen, you've done it. You're doing it. I'm doing it. And if we're being honest, every major white institution builds off of the backs of us, whether we're talking about Fox Network or others, the music industry. They all build off of our energy that we end up getting pennies on a dollar for the thing that we built. So, you know, what he said, I wonder how many people jumping up and applauding are actually putting it into practice, building their runways, building their own tables in their own houses. It's a quote that I use all the time. I'm not fighting over crumbs. I'm a baker. I'm not fighting for a seat at your table. I'm a maker. And at the end of the day, everybody who's listening right now has the ability to create the future that they want to see. Tyler Perry is the blueprint. Roland Martin is doing it. I'm doing it. Are you willing to do it, or are you too afraid and not really confident in your abilities to actually create something from nothing?
Mildred,
this is what we do.
Mildred, not just do it, but are you willing to support it? Because here's the deal. So when TV One canceled my show, December of 2017, one of the first things that we did was something called the State of Our Union. It was an idea that I conceived. I said, look, let's actually do our own discussion on the state of our union to counter Trump's speech. That was a result of Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, and others saying they were going to skip his State of the Union. I came up with that at the NAACP Image Awards. NAACP joined me. Congressman Benny Thompson said, great idea. Try to get the CBC involved, but they went ahead and attended the speech. It's another story. But here's what happened, and I've said this. I said it at NABJ. I'm not quite sure if I actually said it on this show. We were 1 hour, Mildred. We were 1 hour away from going live. I had just finished getting out of the makeup chair. My cell phone rings. I answer my cell phone, and the other end was Tyler Perry. And Tyler says, man, I'm watching you on YouTube right now. I'm watching some videos. Bruh, you're our voice. He said, please tell me you're working on something. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, Tyler, I am. I proceeded to tell him what I was working on. That is this show, Roland Martin Unfiltered. He said, I love the fact that you're doing independent. And so ever since then, we've struck a friendship. We talk all the time. We text all the time. We're looking at how we can work together. But what I keep saying to black people, Mildred, is you can't just say, hey, Roland, we praying for you. No, you also got to support financially, because if you didn't buy Tyler's tickets to his plays and to his movies, he couldn't build the studio. And so we also have to say, wait a minute, how am I supporting the folks who are also doing what we say we want to be done?
You're absolutely right, Roland. And there is no true freedom without independence. You can't be free working in somebody else's shop. Now, you can be gathering your resources to build while you're working in somebody else's shop, but there is no true freedom. And we need to understand that when we have our people owning businesses, it is those businesses that are hiring our heads of households, which make our families stronger and our community stronger. You have to put your money where your mouth is. That's essential.
Mo, but here's the other thing when we talk about also owning, and that is, and also then supporting. That is a direct result of building scale. And so what I mean by that, okay, Tyler could not build one studio and then build a second massive studio if he did not achieve scale. You achieve scale by being able to have the resources to build your platform, to market, and also grow it. Look, I know exactly what my vision is for this. My vision is not for this to be me as the only person hosting the show. No, my vision is to actually build a black digital content network. But that's scale. That's actually having other people doing multiple shows, which also requires resources. And I keep using this phrase, Mo, we have to fund our freedom. It's not enough to sit there right now and watch us on Periscope and watch us on Facebook and watch us on YouTube and then say, oh, well, somebody else send them $5 or $10 or $20 or $50. No, we have to fund our freedom.
Well, let me put it this way. As someone who's on a predominantly white station, it happens to be the #1 news talk station in America, but it's a predominantly white audience, and this speaks to me. Yes, we need to support each other, but we all have our different roles to play in that process. I'm a firm believer there needs to be someone in every room to open a door for everyone else and usher others into that room. But also, black folks got to remember, folks like me, we're not a sellout because we're on a predominantly white radio station or white network. We're making sure we can bring some other folks with us and maybe take over. I think we can, once again, it's a both and situation. We should have our own and take over theirs and make sure that there's a place for all of us to be along the way, because we all have a role to play. But we have to make sure that we don't only support the Roland Martins of the world, but we also have to support the Mo Kellys, because we believe in the same thing and we're working to the same end. And sometimes I think, or many times, we lose sight of that. We're not each other's enemy.
Well, absolutely. And look, Karen, when I was on CNN, I had my own company. And I was on Tom Joyner Morning Show, which was black owned. I was doing TV One, which was black owned, and I was doing both. But the key is, and this was the key, when I was at CNN, I did not think that CNN was better than TV One. I told them on election night 2008, I had to step off the set to do 2 or 3 hits on TV One. They were like, well, why? I said, because they paid me before y'all did. And I'm not going to dismiss them just because I'm on your air. And so to Mo's point, we need folks in all places. But the other piece is we have to be able to have places where we absolutely are controlling our destiny, and we're not asking somebody else's permission. Can I please go cover this black event or this black story?
Right. Or even have to explain why. Right.
Right.
And the ice water is colder. I think that's over. I think we're in a generation. This generation is really understanding their value and their worth, and we're seeing it play out, whether we're looking at new billionaires being made like Jay-Z, or we're looking at the landscape of folks like Chance the Rapper and Lil Nas X and others who are finding their capital and creating their own lanes. I think we're in a very special time right now. What Tyler Perry spoke to is an awakening that I think is reverberating throughout the country, throughout the world, because this is a global movement. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. And I'm glad that I'm watching this happen. I'm glad I'm alive for it.
And again, you go back to the speech that Prince gave in 2000 when he was recognized for Artist of the Decade. He essentially said the same thing when he said to own your masters. He said, look at these contracts you're signing and understand you're working for them. You should be working for yourself. And so we appreciate what Tyler Perry is doing. And to all the folks out there, again, if you want to support what we're doing, support us at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Become a member of our fan club. Again, you can give via Cash App, PayPal, Square. It doesn't matter. Some people are giving to us monthly. Some people are who are tithing monthly. Some people are giving to us once one payment. Doesn't matter. We need your support because, again, we want to be in a situation to be able to have much diverse conversations. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a bunch of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. And, of course, again, a lot of y'all sent me emails saying, how can I get involved? Well, guess what? Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. But the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the United States and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, and this makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in the crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Now, all you got to do is go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game. You should do it now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.